you too. I'm very well. How are you?
Well, of course, we are great. Great.
Excellent.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about your book. I completely forgot to do that last time we spoke.
Yes, the book is great. And we are also working on a card deck, and that is going well too. That is so much fun. That has our face in it. It is so joyous to share these words with everyone in all the
Wow,
ways.
that's great. I'm really looking forward to reading your book.
Thank
Is it
you.
okay with is it okay with you if I use parts of our dialogue in the book that I'm writing about Rachel?
Yes, of course. Yes, yes.
Excellent. I understand that your natural form is a yellow gas. Is that right?
Not always yellow, some mostly magenta
Oh,
there, but we can change at will.
and I understand that existence on every planet has levels, strata of, gas to physical to organic to, different types of existence. I wanted to ask you if earthly gases are equally compassionate and sensitive to Pleiadian gases.
Well, the reason we manifest as a gas on where we live is because we live on we were going to say gaseous, a gas planet.
Uh-huh.
So so it would make sense that we would want to fit in with our environment, just like you live on what you perceive to be a more dense physical place. Like
Uh-huh.
your tree, you cannot stick your hand through your trees, and so you
Hmm.
cannot stick your hand through you, and so you are adapting to your environment. That is all we are doing. So the gas on your planet is not necessarily sentient,
Hmm.
right? Your clouds, while they do contain energy and thought and matter, they are not necessarily receiving incarnations,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
You can be anything. You can be a rock, you can be a cloud, you can be a thunderstorm, but it is not a such a permanent position. Usually you will just morph into these things temporarily.
Hmm.
Does that
I
make sense?
understand. Yes, it does make sense. And it brings me to another question. You remember when my friend's children asked if cats were descended from aliens,
Yes.
and you said that there was a planet where there were a humanoid species having cat-like abilities and features. And it reminded me of the notion, it may be wrong-headed, but the idea that Earth would be a showcase for every different type. And then even if that is not the case, I wonder if there are other planets where any conceivable earthly entity might be the dominant species, or whatever you have to say about that.
Well, you live in a melting pot here. There is a lot going on here. There are lots of influences from all over your galaxies, and that is part of what makes this such a beautiful, diverse, exciting place. There, of course, are other melting pots. We would not say that it has a mostly earthly influence anywhere
Mm.
else,
Okay.
but but certainly there are those of you who have spent a lot of time here on other places influencing that to some degree. Yes.
All right. What role does culture, by which I mean civilization, play in human development? Very open-endedly, what role does civilization, acculturation play in human development?
Well, very much, right? It is when you come together to form a culture or a civilization, you begin to share certain viewpoints, and those viewpoints become more as you focus upon them, and they grow and they allow you to evolve ideas and things and inventions. And so, yes, it is a very powerful thing when you join together.
I heard you speak. I've asked you about the Zeta Reticuli beings, or beings from Zeta Reticuli in the past. I heard you say something about at one time they had no emotions.
Yes.
I've heard another theory that these are actually future humans coming back to replenish their DNA with the ability to feel.
Yes,
And what's your,
that is the same theory, yes.
you say that's accurate, or what's
Yes,
your, yeah?
yes, because of the typical view of time and space, it might seem far-fetched, but once you leave this dimension, it does not seem so strange. So, well, we could really get into it on this topic.
And it'll take a long time. We can do it in another session if you like, but
Well, I will
anything.
just say briefly, these are your cousins.
Huh.
The Zeta are your cousins, and they chose a specific route that they wanted in humanity, and so they got to experience what they wanted. Remember when we were speaking about the implants and the mechanical suits that you might have eventually? Well, that is a choice some people will make in the future to go that route, and the Zetas chose a particular route, and so therefore they formed their own civilization and culture from the offshoot of humanity. And there were certain repercussions from that. And so they are using your help and have used your help to replenish what was going missing for them. And we see it as a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
Okay, and so the present is rather the crucible for these choices that are being made that are affecting, because time all happening at once. I understand outside of this dimension it all happens at once. But this,
Well, even
in my,
inside, it is just that you perceive it differently.
right, right. But so in my perception, this would be sort of like ground zero for this choice to be made, whether or not to devote to technology and mechanization or to devote to organics and soul, spirit,
But it
natural.
all works out, right? So it is not as serious as all this. It is
Mhm.
it is that you can follow your joy and still be okay. Expect all to be well, right? Nothing went wrong with the Zetas. They are just all the solutions are present when they need them, right?
That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
I've heard, without giving you any earthly background on where I heard it, but I've heard that mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, might potentially have been spores from an extraterrestrial reality, like sent just on purpose to deliver a message or to expand consciousness. And I'm wondering what you know about psychoactive, apparently naturally occurring psychoactive substances, and whether or not they are of an extraterrestrial genesis.
Well, most of your things are from an extraterrestrial genesis because you are mostly extraterrestrials, right? You're pulling your energy from many places. The life on this planet, you could say, floated in from space, all of you. So it is not a silly or strange thing to us that that could be true for your mushrooms. It is not that they were sent as a tool or as right expanding consciousness. You do not need that. You do not need help expanding your consciousness. It happens in every single moment. It is a constant. So whether you use them or not is up to you. They were not given to you to be used in that way. They just exist because you allowed them and you called them in enough of you so that they are here.
All right. Okay, and there's the big clincher. I heard a couple of news reports yesterday that scientists have discovered a particle that's a portal to the fifth dimension. And that description strikes me as ignoring the spiritual evolution that would be traditionally required to transcend your dimension to the next dimension and the next. and I want a reaction to that.
Yes, and see
Like,
again, it is so much easier. There is no, you are all spiritual, and so all of your evolution is spiritual. And of course, your scientists would find such things because they exist. All that is required for you to jump around in dimension is to change your point of focus. That is all that is required. And
okay,
they aligned their focus with finding this particle, which is very exciting, isn't it?
yeah, I'm interested. I was just wondering if there would be like a great failure when they realized they lacked any kind of spiritual readiness to accept that fifth dimension.
We
But I
don't
guess
think they
not.
even think about it like that. To them, it is all
No,
just mathematical, right? It is theoretical. And so it does not, they would not even know the opportunity that they are missing. So they would not know that they are failing, right?
dig it. And then the Navy is patenting technology that is apparently reverse engineered from spacecraft that they claim is going to engineer reality, and it includes flying saucers and zero gravity technology and things like this. I wonder if you have any inside information on that.
Well, we are not surprised that, see, this, you can expect this. You can expect more and more of this because your planet's allowance of the new is growing more and more each day, right? You are expecting new technologies to come into your worldview. And so they will. And you cannot get it wrong, even if they are used for weapons, right? That is probably the worst case scenario you can think of. It does not matter. Your collective consciousness is in charge of what happens to your planet, but do not forget that your momentum as a collective is far beyond the tipping point of good. You are not self-destructing. You are not getting rid of your planets in any way. All is really well. And so you can stop worrying about all of these things and just appreciate them, be excited about them. We are so excited about all of these things.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks for talking with me. And we'll cover that Zeta thing in more depth on a future occasion.
Yes, perhaps we may have said all that we wish to say because it really does not matter. We would rather focus on joy and expansion and experiencing your world and all of its fabulous glory. And that is really what you care about most anyway. Feeling good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks very much, as always, for speaking with me.
Yes, we enjoy it so much. Thank you so much for these questions. And we will talk to you again very soon. And
All right.
thank you all for watching. We love you so much. Bye for now.